Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Talk, Real Life, Real Talk, and Real Live with Damon, the agent. Hold on. I thought I took this off. Okay, I'm sorry. Welcome. Today is Friday, January the 13th, 2023. Welcome, as always, to another episode again of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, and Real Live with Damon, the agent, where I come to you with always the latest real estate news, and I always like to talk about the subject. Now, today, I normally would talk about real estate, and then I will have a business spotlight, and then I would talk about a subject. So I'm going to actually switch it today. Today, I have a business spotlight, and where I am having a loan officer come on to talk about the various programs and what's going on with the interest rate. Now, one of the things that I was going to talk about is interest rate. So after she gets off, we will elaborate and talk more about the interest rates. So I want you all to please welcome, let me get her name correct because I tend to sometimes not say it correctly, Tina Del Casale. Let me log her in for one quick second. Hold on for 1 second, you all. And the only reason why I'm switching this is because she has to run and be somewhere at a certain time. So I'm trying to accommodate her schedule in which, you know, I'm waiting for her, but I don't know where she is. So what I'm going to do is until she comes on, I'm going to go ahead and talk about what I was going to talk about anyway, which is the interest rate. That has been a buzzing topic for many people. Many people are on the fence when it pertains to buying homes because many people feel like the interest rates are too high, and they've been listening to the news, and the news said it's not a good time to buy, because that's what I heard recently from one of my friends who I actually was at the gym, and she was like, well, the news said don't buy right now. So there's a few things I like to share, okay, when it pertains to interest rates, media, and everything. First of all, I like to always give this example. Have you all ever been watching the news and the weather comes on and they say weather, storm watch, storm alert? We're having this big storm is coming, and then come to find out that things weren't what they said it was going to be. So I say that to say that a lot of times when we tend to watch the media, they get us tuned in, and they're always telling us things and stuff to get us revved up so we can continuously watch them all the time. But everything that they say is not always true. Over the years, there's been a fact that most media are supposed to report the facts and let you form your own opinion. But what has happened over the years is a lot of times they're giving us their opinions of things. Like, for example, when the person said that the media said do not buy right now because the interest rate is high, and I said to her, do you know that when the economy was booming, that everyone in the economy was not doing well? There were people who were actually struggling. And do you know when there's a so-called recession, that everyone is not doing bad? There are plenty of people that are doing well, and even some millionaires are born during the you know what I'm saying, a bad recession. So I say all this to say that everyone's situation is just that. It's situational. So a lot of times you cannot always listen to the media to tell you what you're going to do, because the media doesn't know what's going on with you financially. Now, let's talk about these interest rates. When it pertains to the interest rate, um, when it pertains to the interest rate, what's really going on is this. I have a chart right here, and it basically has the interest rate over the past 50 years. Okay, ever since 2008, going all the way down, the interest rate has been over 6%. 2008 going down, the interest rate has been over 6%. Currently, today's interest rate is 6.07%. I want you all to keep that in mind, okay? 6.07%. Last year, or rather like in 2021, interest rate got as low as 2.9%, which was historically low. And historically meaning it normally comes around, once in a lifetime, historically low. So a lot of times people were spoiled by that extremely low interest rate, thinking that's the norm, when that's not the norm. What the norm is actually what's correcting itself. And here's the thing: people are also focused on the interest rate when they really should be focused on affordability and their payments. Because the thing about interest rate is they change all the time. So let's say hypothetically you buy a house today and the interest rate changes in 6 months. People can always refinance for a lower interest rate. That's one thing to please keep in mind. You can always refinance. But another thing is this though: house prices go up an average of 2 to 4% every year. So people who are waiting on the interest rate to go down are going to find themselves in a bit of a pickle in a couple of years. And what I mean by that is meaning that if people remember when the interest rate was low in 2021, do you all remember when there was a bidding war on everything? Because people were listing their prices and then you had to come 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 over list price in order to get the home. Well, if and when interest rate go down, because we never know when that's going to happen, that's going to be the same scenario again. And on top of that, the prices of houses today are going to be higher tomorrow. Your dollar is worth more today than tomorrow. Think about this. Eggs, for example. Eggs right now are extremely high. They're roughly around $10. The same thing that you're paying $10 for today, you were paying what, $2.50, $3, $4 for that yesterday? Same eggs. Your dollar was worth more yesterday than it is today when it pertains to purchasing eggs. And the same thing when it pertains to purchasing a house. As the house prices continue to go up, people are going to wait. So say hypothetically they wait 4 years for the interest rate to go down. I'm just using that for an example. They wait 5 years. Let's say it goes up 4%. That's 20% in 5 years. So let's say hypothetically we have a house that's normally priced right now at 400,000, 20%. So it goes up to what? Is that 480? I'm thinking, yeah, 480. So people wait for the interest rate to go down, but what they're not thinking about is what is their monthly payment. See, the key is always to focus on your monthly payment when you're looking at interest rate, because interest rate changes all the time. Now, when we're looking at the monthly payment, keep in mind that you can still always refinance. You can always refinance. And keep in mind that the house prices continuously goes up. Now, for those who say, oh, I'm just stuck on the interest rate, well, here's another thing. You have jumbo loans, and jumbo loans is normally 725,000 or more, and of course going up to $1 million and more. Those loans have the lowest interest rate. So if people are just stuck on interest rate, then you can always buy $1 million home where you get a very low interest rate compared to a conventional loan. That is something to keep in mind. But here's the thing. See, when you think about $1 million home, then you start thinking about the monthly payments, regardless of the interest rate. But even if the home is 400,000, 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, you still should be thinking about the monthly payment. Because another thing about a home is if you purchase a home and the interest rate is affordable for you, but you feel like it's a little high, what a person can do is they can always refinance, and they can also take some equity out of the home and buy down the interest rate. You can buy down the rate, with the money. So here's the thing: programs tend to help out with these things. Like, for example, if people have money saved up, what they can also do is the money that they would normally put towards their down payment and closing costs, if they can get in a program, if they qualify for the program, then the money that they would normally take for that, they can use to buy down the interest rate, use the program to use for the down payment and closing costs, and it still will come out on top. See, where there's a will, there's a way. You have to be strategic when it pertains to buying a house. Everything is not always black and white. When it pertains to these things, there are always things. Because here's the thing: people are buying homes every single day, regardless of the economy, regardless of the interest rate. And the reason is because people have to move. People go through divorces. People have deaths in their family. People downsize. People have to upgrade because they need space. And sometimes they have no choice. And here's another thing that people are not taking into consideration. While they're waiting for the interest rate to go down, and if they're renting, go an average of 5% every year. an average of 5% every year. So whatever you're paying for rent next year, when it goes up, most people charge a 5% increase every year for rent. That is at a higher rate right now than inflation, and that's almost high as the interest rate. So what you think you're saving by waiting, you're actually losing over time. So I say that all that to say that when it pertains to the interest rate, please be focused on the monthly payment because you cannot go wrong. The monthly payment is what really concerns. And I'm gonna give you another example. I know people who have bought homes as high as 800,000, and their monthly payment have been, well, some people have bought the same for 500,000. And people say, "Oh, okay, well that's a $300,000 difference. How are they paying the same monthly as that?" See, it's all about ways and wills, and there are ways to do certain things. And then on top of that, there's the loans and everything. When you have a good loan officer who know what they're doing and can tell you, and they look at your situation, because everything is always, like I said in the beginning, situational. Everything is always situational. It's always based off you as the individual. It's always based off you as the individual. So please keep that in mind when it pertains to that. And then I also want you all to know that that the interest rate tomorrow, we never know when it's going down. People say they're waiting, but what if the interest rate never go down? So you're going to wait and not buy a home? A home is a great investment. For example, people like Donald Trump have become millionaires based off real estate, and they're not the brightest person. He's not the brightest person. So I'm just saying that to say is, do not put off tomorrow what you can do today, because tomorrow you may not have the opportunity to do what you can do today. And people, again, I know you all know someone who recently bought a house. I'm still dealing with people who are buying houses. And again, affordability is the key when you're looking at interest rate. So I say all that to say that, let me see where my lender person is. Hold on for 1 second. So, my lender person, where is she? I don't know where she is. She must be having some technical difficulties because she was supposed to been on here, and I know she has to be somewhere, and um, I don't know. So hold on for 1 second, people. All right, people, I am back. The lender, she's having some technical difficulties, but she says she will be signing on in a second. So let me go on to my next topic, since I am waiting for her, because I don't know how long she's going to take, because sometimes people take a while. So I also wanted to talk about dealing with scammers. We've all been caught up in this. About a couple of months ago, my Instagram account was hacked. Couldn't log in. I get emails all the time when it pertains to shipping packages with the post office, confirmation. I recently also had someone who I have clients, and I got a message on Facebook in which, when I got the message on Facebook, excuse me, it was a client of mine, and they asked me what was my number. So I thought it was kind of odd, but I also thought, well, maybe they got a new phone, so they needed my number. So I ended up giving them my cell phone number. Then I got a text message on my phone from Facebook, and it had a code. So then they turned around and sent me a message, say, send me that code. Someone's hacked into my account, and they wanted me to get my information from somebody that they can trust. Send me that code, please, ASAP. So I paused for a second and thought about it. I'm like, why am I sending them a code? So I said to them, I said, call me. I said, call me right now, please. And it was an attempt to call me 3 times, but it's like they called and hung up. They called and hung up. They called and hung up. So then I ended up calling my client, who the person it was. I said, did you send me a message on Facebook? And they was like, no, don't send them no information. They hacked my account. They got my banking information. So when they did that, I was like, wow. And then I thought about it, because I see on a lot of people on my Facebook account, a lot of people that I know who are friends, and a lot of requests that I've got. I look on their account and I see like people who are saying, oh, all these people made all this money through Cash Apps or crypto or something like that. And then I started thinking about like the email I got. I had ordered some things, and then I was doing when I ordered some things, I got some stuff from some emails. So then one of them was like, please verify your shipping information. So I didn't do it. So I say all that to say that scammers are everywhere. And because they are everywhere, we have to be diligent of everything. I get text messages all the time asking you to click on links. I've gotten messages in my Instagram where people send me messages, say, click on this. Do not click on anything, people. Do not click on any links. Do not give out any information that people can't get out of their own phones. Do not do this, because these are ways that people are stealing people's. These are ways that people are stealing people's identities and logging on to people accounts, whether it's their Instagram account, their Facebook account, or whatever account they're logging on. Because every time we have gotten caught up in a society where that when people text us, we respond. And because we do that, people are preying, P-R-E-Y, preying on that for a lot of people. So if you get a message that says if you get a message that says in your inbox is saying, oh, what's your number? And then you get a message from Facebook or a message from Instagram, and the people are asking for that information, do not give it to them. When you get emails, because a lot of times I get emails and say confirmation or you got a deposit, do not do that. I know so many people whose identities have been stolen because of the scammers, who have gotten their Facebook accounts hacked, Instagram accounts hacked, all these accounts hacked, because you have these people who are, becoming friends. And a lot of times we got to be diligent of the people we're accepting as friends too, because they're becoming your friends. And then they're studying your page. They're studying who you are. And as they're studying your page and who you are, then they know, okay, I'm going to copy this person's pictures, and then I'm going to create another page over here, because that's happened too. Even with myself, I remember a couple of years ago, people started sending me messages, did you create another page? I was like, no. And you got these people who are doing it. These people are in foreign countries. You got a lot of people who are local now and there. There are a lot of local scammers and stuff. So because of that, nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to steal stuff off your hard work. You worked hard for whatever it is that you have. So please be mindful and diligent of it, so people just don't come and take what you earn away from you so easily, because it's not easy recuperating those things. It's not easy trying to log back in. It's not easy getting money, and it's hard when you got to dispute things, and if they get access to your bank account. And that's another thing. Even with your credit cards and your debit cards, I've recently had to get a new credit card because for some reason somebody got access to my card information, because I had my card physically. So this means this either happened at a gas station or somewhere where I used the card. They must have duplicated my card, and they were at the airport in Baltimore going through vending machines, just swiping, getting everything for only like $2, $4 and everything. And then what they ended up trying was to get something from Target for over $800 and something. So, and then the credit card texted me and asked me, did I attempt to purchase something? This was like at midnight or something. So I say all this to say that you have to be very diligent when it pertains to all your information, because our information identifies who we are, just like our social security numbers identify who we are. So you have to be very mindful of all your information when it pertains to your login information, when it pertains to your passwords, when it pertains to anything, because when people are sending you things and asking you questions, your response is going to determine whether or not that you're hacked or not. So right now, and I do finally have the loan officer, Miss Tina Del Casale, on. So I'm going to chime her in 1 second. Hold on, people. Hello.
Hi, Damon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. This is my first time on Damon's High Tech broadcast, so bear with me that you have to suffer with me in the car because unfortunately I do have a 1 o'clock that I have to get to Annapolis for. So you're going to hear some directions in the background because until I get on the highway, I have no clue what I'm ever doing.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Well, I want to first of all thank you for coming on and coming on my podcast and sharing some of your information and all of the good products that you all have to offer to people out there who may be interested in buying, selling, and also refinancing. So, first of all, let me ask you a few questions. Okay,
Please.
you sent me the information about the interest rate. Give us some
Yep.
information on what's going on with the interest rate and why people who are hesitant on the fence still should buy.
Well, interest rates will always go up and down. Right now, we've got the Fed feeling that our economy is doing too well, that inflation is too high, prices are too high. I think most of us would agree that we are definitely paying too much at the grocery store, at the gas station, for things we're not paying that much for a couple of years ago. So trying to bring down the cost of things, unfortunately, means that they increase interest rates. They increase the cost of the money that the banks borrow money, and then that in turn translates down to us. It means our money gets more expensive when the person we're getting it from has to charge more.
Correct.
So this is their way of slowing things down. Economists feel like by next year things will start to calm down, but you've got the reverse effect. So one of the pluses to buyers right now is that when interest rates go up, housing prices, even in the DMV, calm down. Now, we don't crash like some other areas, but we do come down. And that means you're going to be able to buy your home for less than you would have last year when rates were 3-4%. So you've got to kind of trade off, do I want to pay $100,000 more for this home, or am I okay with paying a slightly higher interest rate and, like everyone else in the world, catching a refinance market after I'm in the game? If you don't put some skin in the game and get in there, you're never going to be a homeowner. If you're always looking for that perfect time, that doesn't occur. It's like when people are like, it's not the right time for me to have a child. Well, there is no right time. The right time is when the baby comes. Right, Damon?
Right. Yeah. You're right on that. Yeah. So I'm glad that you said that because people that I've been hearing and I've been, talking to people. I don't know if you heard anything I said prior to you getting on, but I was at
I
the
did.
gym recently and the lady who knows I'm a realtor, she was like, they said it's not a good time to buy. And I said, who is they? She said, the media. And I
Yep.
said, oh, and that's when I gave her an example about the weather. I said, well, have they ever been wrong about the weather? Because there have been plenty of times when they talk about a storm is coming through, or we're going to get 6 inches, and then we only get a light dusting. I said, so I
Yep.
say all that to say is, I said, how is your finances? Because everything is always situational. So you can't go by what they say because they're grouping everyone together, and I also explained to her that even when the economy was doing extremely well, I knew people who were struggling and weren't doing well. So if you're going to always listen to them, then you're going to be thrown off based off what's going on with you. But then I also shared with her about the prices of houses going up, and then at the same time, like the monthly payments. So we had a good discussion. But also, please elaborate on some programs for some people,
Yeah.
because people out here.
So
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
that's okay. So yeah, the media will always hype things. They need you to pay attention now to what they're doing. And if you don't, then they don't have any coverage. They don't have anybody paying attention. So what they're not talking about is rich investors buy when other people step out of the market. So they know something. They're in this to make money. They're not even in it for a long-term home. So pay attention. There are programs out there. I was telling Damon, one of my favorite programs is our Federal Home Loan Bank grant. We have a grant, and grant means you do not repay that money, which is my favorite. We have a grant that is between $7,500 and $10,000. Now that makes a big difference when you are trying to buy a home. So everyone who is a first-time home buyer whose income fits the guidelines, it is based on family size and where you're buying, is eligible for the $7,500 grant. First responders, police, firefighters, teachers, nurses are eligible for our $10,000. The way the grant works is it is a recorded lien, and after you've lived in the property for 5 years, it is fully forgiven. So let's say it's year 4, and you got a great deal because you bought now, and you're ready for that move up already. So you owe only 1/5 of that money back. So once you've been in there 5 years, it's fully forgiven. But if you're able to get out of there in 3 or 4 years, each year on the anniversary, 1/5 of the amount that you were given is fully forgiven. So we can combine that with, if you're buying in DC Open Doors, HPAP. We can combine that with the Maryland Mortgage Program if you're buying in Maryland. We can combine it with VHDA if you're buying in Virginia. We can combine it with our own 100% financing program that we have at Sandy Spring Bank. That is at market interest rates, not higher interest rates like some of those other programs. So the best time to buy is when you're ready and when you're not fighting against everybody else. So this is a great time to buy, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I elaborated on that too, that if people wait on the interest rate to go down, then they're going to encounter the same thing that they were dealing with last year and in 2021 when there were multiple offers on properties, because everyone tends to do things around when everyone else is doing things, but a lot of times you have to go against what people are doing in order to get what you want. So right now during the wintertime actually is the best time to buy, because most people don't like to move during the wintertime. So springtime, summertime come, everybody's going to be out there.
I have bought every home I've ever purchased in December. I've always closed in December. I bought them in November, December, because again, if people have their homes on the market before the spring, they're serious sellers. And we are starting to see the buyers being able to get closing cost help, be able to get their home inspections again, which is huge. It was scary to buy a house with no home inspection. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Even as a longtime owner and investor, that it's a big purchase to not be able to inspect and know what's going on underneath the hood, so to speak.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
So we also have a medical doctors program for those people who are in the medical profession. Let's say you're a resident and just got out of your training. We don't have to count your student loan debt against you to qualify you for a home. That's huge. So there are so many programs to use, whether you're a first-time buyer. DC Open Doors is a repeat buyer program, so even if you don't have the down payment money, I've had people sell their property, use the cash they made to catch up on some debt. Let's say, like you were mentioning, that when the Fed thought that things were wonderful, that person's income wasn't, because they were in one of the professions affected. I've had them pay off debt and catch up with the sale of their home and then start with another down payment assistance loan so that they're still in the housing game, but catch up on all that debt they unfortunately got under while, maybe somebody was out of work or there were medical emergencies.
Okay. Well, that's good that those programs are available to people. So hopefully people are listening and understand that they have options. And that's what I was trying to get people to see, that they should not allow the interest rate alone to deter them from purchasing a home.
It's about the payment. I always equate housing to car buying because most people have purchased a car. You don't go into the car dealership and go, oh, well, is my interest rate 1.99 or is it 2.99? You go in with, I can afford $400 a month, or I can afford $600 a month. Well, that's what you do with housing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, okay, if you can afford $2,000 a month, this is what your buying power is. If you can afford $1,800 a month, this is your buying power. If you can afford, so it's the same thing. Don't focus so much on a number that you miss the opportunity to become a homeowner and gain your wealth every day when you're making your payment instead of your landlord's wealth.
Right. And that's true. And that's what I also mentioned about people who are not buying and they're waiting. And with rent, you know, rent goes up, what, 5% every year. So while you're waiting on the interest rate to go down, your rent's going up. So in 2 years, let's say you're paying 2,000, and then what, 5% would be what, an extra $100, and then another 5%. So you're paying more renting than it's waiting on the interest rate to go down. So how does that really benefit you? So people, like I said, and like you said, we both said the same thing, that they should focus on their payment. Their monthly affordability is what they should focus on, not the interest rate. Because again, like I also said, there are houses that are $1 million that have very low interest rates. So if you're just focusing on interest rate, well, let's go get you $1 million home then, if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah.
Affordability. That's the secret. And one of the great things about working with Damon is, you know, he is not going to push you into something you're not ready for. He's going to make sure you're getting a home that will work for you for the future, because like all of us who are doing this long term, he doesn't want you to buy a house and then never be happy. He wants you to tell your friends. He wants you to come back in a few years when you're ready for the next one, or your parents or your kids or whoever. So we're in this for the relationship in the long term. So we would not be giving you advice that does not benefit you if we did not think you would come back to us again and again.
Right. And I always like to treat people like I want to be treated. So I'm not going to rip myself off. You know, I'm not going to rip myself off. I'm going to try to make sure that people have the best opportunity, because I still know people who, and I actually was speaking with one of my clients yesterday, who still want to buy, and they keep listening to the media. And I'm like, why are you even listening to them? I'm not saying like don't ever listen to them, but I said you have to look at what's best for you. They can't tell you what's best for you. They don't know your bank account. They don't know what you have going on. So it's good to be informed, but that's why I also said I've realized media is supposed to report the facts and then let us form our own opinion. But nowadays they give us their opinion. You know, they're not giving us the facts. They're not, and if people really pay attention, they'll see they're not giving us the fact. They give us the facts on minimum things, but not on all things. And when you listen to a lot of what they're saying, it's like that's your opinion, you know. So again, I just want people to be you know, aware and diligent and understand that they have options, and they have people like you and I that's going to try to help them make the best decision for themselves and them and their families, and put them in a good position so that they can have a lifetime, you know, achievement with owning a home or homes or whatever they want to do, especially at this time, because the price of houses hasn't gone down yet. I mean, they staggered off in some areas, but in many cases, they haven't dropped substantially compared to where they were, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago. So people need to be aware of what's going on. So if they wait another 2, 3, or whatever years, then the housing prices might be up again, and interest rate may not have gone down again. So, you know, you plan a waiting game. It's like people trying to they want to hit the lottery. You know, everybody doesn't hit the lottery. More people don't hit the lottery than do actually hit the lottery. That's why I think one of them is up to 1.3 billion right now. So yeah, so that's good stuff, Tina. So I appreciate you. I know you have an appointment to go to. That's why you're in your car driving and being safe and putting your signals on and all that good stuff.
Going to a closing, because there are people buying in this market that buy when you're not competing against everyone else.
That's great. That's great. And like I tell people buy houses every day. You know, I look into the MLS system and I see closed 400 or 4,000 in a day. And that's what I'm saying. So when people, I'm going to wait, what are you waiting for? People, you know, what are you waiting for? You should, if you can afford now, what are you waiting for? But I don't want to
Yep.
pay the interest rate. But you're paying 22% interest rate on your credit card. You're paying 18%
Absolutely.
on your card note. So why are you focused on the interest rate?
And we're still in single digits. I bought my first place at 11 and 7/8.
Right.
And, that was market. And that had been going down for years. They had been in like 13 and 14% in the early 80s. I bought my first home in 1989.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about the rate, it was about the payment. How did it
Correct.
compare to my rent? Well, okay, it was a couple $100 higher than my rent, but that's because a couple $100 a month is going to my equity, my principal. So why wouldn't I pay that extra money to build my financial future?
Right. Yeah. And that's
Can
what
you
people
tell
need.
I'm prejudiced about real estate, Damon? I've been doing it for 33 years. I don't think there is ever a bad time to buy real estate.
It's never a bad time to buy real estate. It's all, like you said, it's all about affordability and people looking at what their monthly investment is. And once they can focus on that monthly investment, then they'll go further. If they're going to focus on the interest rate, they're going to continue to lose out. Period.
Yeah.
It's just that. It's
It's
just that.
like I'm going to start my diet in the new year, or I'm going to start my diet right after Valentine's Day, or I'm going to start. So it's
Yeah.
the same. Don't make excuses. If you're ready, step up. It's a great time. And we look forward to working with you, right, Damon?
Yes, we definitely look forward to working with you. You definitely want to help you. And then also like I mentioned to you, I had got number 9 in my office out of over 600 people as far as individual agents. So I want to be number 1. So I want people to, help me achieve that goal as I help them achieve their goal. So it's a
Yeah.
win-win situation for all of us.
Help make Damon number 1 in the DMV.
Yes, yes, yes. I appreciate you, Tina. I thank you for taking the time to come on here. We'll talk more
Happy
off.
Friday, and
Yes, happy Friday and
you got happy
congratulations
Friday,
on
and
your
I'll see you guys at the
closing.
closing table.
Yes, yes, yeah. We'll be there soon together. And congratulations to your buyer. And I know that they're going to enjoy their home. And you have a great day, great weekend, and we shall talk soon.
Sounds good. Have a great day, guys.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Uh-huh. All right, people, hold on for 1 second. But yeah, that was Loan Officer Tina Del Casale. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. I think that I did. But yes, as we were just saying that interest rate shouldn't be the deter for you all purchasing a home, because if you are waiting on the interest rate to go down, you're going to definitely lose out. I'm just here to share with you all that there are many options out here when it pertains to buying. People are still buying. There are programs out here to help a lot of people. Affordability is what's the key, because trust and believe, your rent is going to cost you more than what your mortgage payment is if you're just tripping off the interest rate. Um, so let me go back to the scammers. I was talking about scammers, in which there are a lot of people being scammed. There are a lot of people getting over and everything. People are stealing people's identities. My Instagram was hacked I think like 3-4 months ago. I could not log in and then they said that every time I tried to log in, they said we detected that you logged in. I think it was in India or somewhere. So somebody had access. So I thank God that I was able to get my Instagram account back, because if I had to start over, I have quite a bit followers on there. I would have had to get all my followers back, but I actually had to start a whole new YouTube channel because of these stupid scammers and stuff. So my YouTube channel now is only probably like 6 or 8 months old, but the one that I had prior to, I had for 15 years. So I'm saying all this to say that when we're out here every day, when we're using our credit cards, debit cards, sometimes these machines are copying our information. So one of the keys that I do and I suggest to you all is, if you have a credit card or debit card, I would strongly suggest that every 6 months you replace them. Replace them. You can always replace your debit cards. You can say for fraud and security reasons when you go into your bank, just to let them know, because people out here getting people all the time. People are getting a whole bunch of money because people are losing a whole bunch of money because of careless mistakes. Do not click on, if you get a text message and you don't recognize the sender and it's asking you to click on something to verify something, do not click on it. If you didn't order anything and you see something from like US Postal Service or whatever, do not click on any links. You all, these links are how people are getting your information. And then because they're hacking, when you click on the links, they're copying your phone and they're able to see everything you're texting and typing and everything. And that's how they steal it on that. And again, if you get a message in your Facebook, in your Instagram, on any social media asking you for codes or what's your phone number, and I'm not talking about people who are trying to talk to people. I'm not talking about people who are doing business. I'm talking about people who just randomly send you that and they say, oh, can you send me the code that was sent to you? Those people trying to hack your information, because on these social media now, all they got to do is plug in your phone number and they verify who you are by sending you a text message and code, because that's your phone. So if you give that information to someone else, please keep in mind that your account could be compromised. And there's so much scamming going on. And I wanted to share this because every time I turn around, I'm getting emails about scamming. Like right now, I'm looking at this. Okay, and it's asking me for, like, for example, I didn't order anything from Walmart. It's saying confirmation from Walmart, want me to click on it. I'm just saying there's so much scamming going on that we really have to be mindful of what we're doing, where we're doing, how we're doing it. And again, change your debit credit cards every 6 months. Update your passwords every 3 to 6 months. I know it's a lot, but please keep track of it somewhere. Do not share any information that comes on your phone with anyone. Do not click on any links in your email or on your phone text message that you may get. These things will help to prevent the scammers from stealing your identity, will help from them stealing your money out your bank accounts, and will possibly save you some headaches and heartaches, because I've seen people who all the information have been taken and gotten from them, and it's kind of challenging for them to recuperate things. It's taking a long process. So please be diligent of that and keep that in mind. So those are the things I wanted to share with you when it pertains to scammers. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, so today I went over interest rate, and I had the lovely Tina Del Casale on as well to share the information. And again, interest rate. Please don't let interest rate scare you from going to purchasing a home, because homes are affordable. Homes are going to be bought. And if you wait tomorrow to do what you could today, you can lose out on tomorrow and regret what wasn't done today. So I say that all to say that always look at the numbers, because what your monthly investment is going to be what really matters. That's what really matters when you're buying a home. Look at the affordability and then take into consideration that over time you build equity. With that equity, you can buy down your rate. Once you buy down your rate, that means your payment will go down. Keep that in mind too. And like I also said, where there's a will, there's a way. There are many strategic plans and ways to buy a house. There are many strategic plans and ways to lower the interest rate. There are many strategic plans and ways to help you get what you want. So if you want to be a homeowner in 2023, I can definitely help you. Regardless if you have bad credit, we can always work on that. I work with some great people who specialize in credit repair. And regardless if you don't have all the down payment and closing costs. Now you may need to have some, but if you don't have all, I work with some great people as well, such as Tina. She was going over some of the programs that they have to offer. If you really want it, you can get it. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you're ready, willing, and able, then I'm able, willing, and ready to show you how I can help you get that home you want. So, I also want to finish up and recap on scammers. Please be diligent of all your information. Do not share your information. Do not click on any links that you're not familiar with or from people that you don't know, whether it's via email or whether it's via text, because those links you click on can be the links that compromise your information. And the scammers are everywhere. So please be mindful because they got me twice. And that's the reason why I'm sharing that with you, because I would rather help someone, prevent them from going through the heartache and headache that I went through. So that's why I'm sharing this information with you. So again, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Real estate, real life, real talk, and real live with Damon the agent. Please come back each and every Friday at 12 noon where we discuss this and more. I always talk about real estate. I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Martin Luther King Day on Monday. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay warm and stay blessed, everyone.